Hi everyone, it's Roger here from whatsondisneyplus.com with this week's Q&A video. Now these questions have come from our patrons and also our YouTube channel members, so let's jump into it. Joseph asks, could Raya and the Last Dragon be a Disney Plus original movie like Soul did? Honestly, we are still, 5 months away from Raya being released. It was supposed to have been actually released this month for Thanksgiving, but got pushed back because of all the situation. Now, I think it's really going to depend on what situation the virus is and also where the cinemas are at that time. You know, over here in the UK, a lot of the restrictions that have been brought in for at least till April, May. A lot of the deals that they've done. So there's a lot of support, for example, over here for cinemas to pay for the staff. But obviously it's not the same everywhere. I know in the US it's not quite the same. And that's going to be the real thing. If it's the whole of Europe's kind of shut back down, Australia's just kind of reopening up. And America's all over the place. I think until we've got vaccines or a system in place, I think it's going to be hit and miss. As far as Raya goes, I would like to say, I think we've got a long way to go. I think next year is going to be different anyway. I think Disney are going to be very much aware people are not wanting to go to the cinema in the same numbers. But also, more importantly, there's so many movies to be released in 2021. They've shoved so many in there from this year. They're probably going to have to push a few more back. But also, who's going to be wanting to go week to week to week? Families aren't going to be able to afford that. And yeah, so that's going to be an issue, and I think we are probably going to start seeing things arrive on Disney Plus much earlier. Whether or not Raya becomes a Disney Plus original, I don't think we would know maybe until February, until we kind of see where we are. I mean, currently at the minute I'm in lockdown, so we're not allowed to go kind of to the cinema at all. They're all completely shut down. So yeah, it's personally right now it's very difficult to be like it's all going to be good because we're back to exactly where we were back in March, so it's going to be difficult to know. So the Juice asks on Patreon, I've been catching up on the reality shows, mainly centered around dogs and their lifestyle. I just finished Dog Impossible, and now I'm catching up with The Dog Whisperer. And I have also seen Pick of the Litter. My question for you is, what are your thoughts on these shows, and would you like to, or would it be beneficial for the service to have more shows developing like this? I'm definitely on the side of wanting more, but what are your thoughts? Would then Disney benefit from making more shows like this? I think we can all admit most people love dogs, and I've recently got a new puppy, so therefore I'm definitely in that category. I really liked Pick of the Litter. I thought that was a fantastic series. However, I used to have guide dog puppies, and we used to train them, and so I was a little bit more familiar with it, and I was more interested to see what happened next. So I kind of maybe was a little bit biased towards that series because I had a history. I definitely think we should have more of this. We've already seen It's a Dog's Life as well. I kind of quite like the idea of really kind of doing dog training, that kind of thing. I personally watch those videos because I'm trying to do that with my own dog. But yeah, the more dog stuff and pet stuff, I think it's a good thing. It's trying to get that balance right of it kind of being condescending, or like too childish, and then it kind of aiming at adults, because it's a kind of the line. I personally found It's a Dog's Life to be a little bit kind of too aimed at kids. Pick of the Litter was very much more. I think it needed to go a little bit higher in aim rather than it was. They were in that like middle ground, and I don't think that's the best place to be sometimes. Just do it properly, and yeah, I think it would have been a much better series. But yeah, no, more dog stuff the better for me. Jacob asks, is Disney Plus launching in just the 10 Latin American countries that went on pre-order, or do you think it will be launching in more? What Latin American countries do you think Disney Plus will be most successful in? As far as I'm aware, they're going to be launching in a lot more than that. There's actually a big list of all the countries that's going to be launching later this month. And it's just, I think they just picked the 10, maybe the biggest ones, to kind of get through the pre-orders rather than the small little islands in like the Caribbean, etc. As far as which countries they're going to be more successful in, it's going to come down to population. You know, we're talking Mexico, probably Brazil, and Argentina are probably the higher ones up in terms of where they're going to be able to watch it. You know, the amount of people in those countries, and also the wealth of those countries. You know, a smaller little island, less likely to, but just having it everywhere is just going to make it much bigger. You know, suddenly going to have the whole of Latin America having Disney Plus, which is fantastic. And obviously, well, you know, if you go on vacation there, that means you can watch it as well. I know, I mean, I love the Caribbean. I was actually supposed to be going to the Caribbean and Miami this coming week on a Disney cruise, but unfortunately, we're not allowed to go and the cruises are cancelled. So I would have been in the Caribbean this week, and so it would have been great to been sat there and been able to watch some stuff from Disney Plus on there. So yeah, it's going to be a massive success. There's going to be a huge boost of Disney Plus subscribers globally. yeah, this is going to be a big thing for Disney Plus getting out in Latin America, because there's a huge audience there, massive amount of people. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good thing, yeah. But I definitely think it's down to population size of those countries. I Got No Name asked on YouTube, will Hulu on Disney Plus potentially be a US version of Star? So what this is in reference to is the idea that there might be a Hulu sort of section within Disney Plus. So if you're a subscriber of Hulu or part of the bundle, you can kind of access some of the content within the Disney Plus app, which I think makes a lot more sense. A lot more integration between the two is needed. That's what's been suggested with Star as well, which is the international version of Hulu, just without all the live stuff and licensed content, mainly just content from ABC, Fox, and also like Freeform, etc. We're going to be finding out a lot more at the upcoming Investors Day, so we're about a month away. At the minute, it's anything. I'm hoping that they do something like that to kind of link them two together. So if you are in Disney Plus and you want to watch, I don't know, Die Hard, it's there if you've subscribed. And then if you aren't subscribed to Hulu, it maybe prompts you to subscribe to Hulu. So, and there'll obviously be a lot more parental controls and stuff. I mean, personally, I think it's a little bit of mix-up. Internationally, I don't think Starz really needed, but that's my own personal thought. I'd much rather have just one big mega app. But we're going to find out more about Hulu and what's going on with Star as well in just under a month. And I Got No Name also asked on YouTube, since Disney and Fox have an existing agreement with HBO when they make HBO Max an offer similar to Starz in the US. I think there's a very good chance of them offering something to get out of that contract that they've currently got with HBO to get the content over straight away. However, we're into the pretty much last year, the 2020, they've just wiped out. I mean, you think of what movies they would have actually got this year. It's taken out nearly every movie. So in some ways, Disney have kind of ended up all of their movies coming in. They've gained a whole year's worth of that deal. They might just be in a situation if HBO doesn't want to sell it because they want all the content for their platform. Because you've got to look at it from the other idea. HBO Max will want that content. They don't want to give it up. As much as they all want money right now, they also want content. So that's the key thing. But they've lost all of this year's Fox releases. We've had New Mutants, but that's it. I mean, there's barely been anything since like February. So, and Free Guy and also Death on the Nile have been pushed back. So this is going to mean HBO Max is going to have a massive drought themselves of not having any of these movies. I think there's a very high possibility that they could do it. But from HBO's point, why would they? And also Disney might not want to be spending any money on trying to get out of a contract. It also helps spread out those movies. When we start getting them dropping in weekly, kind of makes Disney Plus look a bit better. But yeah, it's all complicated. I think at the minute they're not going to want to spend anything that they don't have to on things that aren't necessary. And as much as it might annoy some of us, in the grand scheme of things, that money's probably better spent doing something else with right now. But nevertheless, let me know in the comments below what you think of all of this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. And I shall see you guys in another video. Later.